What do pirates and archaeologists actually have in common? Well, they're both obsessed with treasure. The only difference is that archaeologists don't need to break the law to get their hands on it. In fact, the riches they uncover usually have more historical weight and mystery than anything a pirate ever dreamed of. From long-lost civilizations to gold-laden tombs, the treasures unearthed by archaeologists tell stories deeper than any buried chest. And today we're bringing those stories to you. So stick around because we're counting down the 15 most incredible treasure and artifact finds, and trust us, they're way more mind-blowing than you might expect. Number 5. Churchill sips sunken silver. The SS Gersapa went down off the coast of Ireland in 1941, sunk by a German U-boat during World War II. On board was a staggering cargo, roughly 7,000 tons of silver bars intended to support the British war economy. The ship was part of a convoy from India, carrying what was essentially wartime funding in its purest form. It wasn't until 2011 that the wreck was finally located. But by then the vessel had ruptured and scattered much of its treasure across the seafloor. Odyssey Marine Exploration undertook what became the deepest salvage mission in history to recover the silver. Even with that effort, several tons remain unaccounted for beneath the waves. The operation revived global interest in wartime shipping and the often overlooked economic desperation of the era. While the silver was valuable, the context around its journey, colonial extraction, wartime urgency, and modern recovery made this one of the most layered finds of the century. A lost shipment, a sunken promise, and a rediscovered legacy. What a story. Number 14. Sacred gold plates of Java. Well, we all dream about it. In the heart of central Java, construction workers digging a water aquifer stumbled upon something far more sacred than they expected. Hidden inside a stone box were 22 small gold plates, each etched with ancient religious inscriptions. The plates, made from 18-karat gold, date back to the 8th century and were likely crafted as offerings. The symbols inscribed reference the Dua Lokapala, divine protectors in Javanese Hindu tradition. Experts from the local heritage authority quickly secured the site and recognized its spiritual significance. The plates were found near an old Buddhist temple, suggesting the area was once a confluence of religious traditions. Though the artifacts were taken into official care, the workers and landowner received compensation for the discovery, a rare acknowledgement of local involvement. These plates weren't lost due to war or buried during the panic. They were carefully placed on the earth, likely as part of a blessing before temple construction. What was meant as a gesture of faith is now a window into the beliefs of ancient Java. Number 13. The Mourning Ring of Gower. In a quiet field in Gower, Wales, a metal detectorist unearthed a gold and silver mourning ring that hadn't seen the light of day in over 3 centuries. Dating to the 17th century, the ring bears a chillingly poetic inscription, "Prepared be to follow me." This piece wasn't just ornamental, it was deeply personal. Mourning rings were traditionally worn as a sign of grief, often inscribed with the name of the deceased, but this one carried no name, only a message intended to resonate beyond the wearer's lifetime. Likely commissioned after the death of someone close, the ring reflects how mourning customs evolved in Britain during that era. Its preservation was so remarkable that it was automatically classified as treasure and handed over to the British Crown, with the finder receiving a formal reward. The ring speaks of private sorrow and the symbolic weight people place on remembrance. It's a delicate artifact, yet one that captures the emotional depth of an entire grieving culture in a single worn band. Number 12. Prohibition-era whiskey stash in New York. Now this one is based on luck. While renovating their century-old home in New York in late 2020, a couple found a hidden stash that could have come straight from a Prohibition-era gangster film. Concealed behind walls and under floorboards were 66 bottles of perfectly preserved whiskey. Wrapped in paper and cushioned with hay, the bottles had been hidden with great care. The brand, Old Smuggler Gaelic Whiskey, was imported from Scotland, ironic considering the name and the context. Local rumors had long suggested the house once belonged to a bootlegger, but until this moment there had been no proof. The bottles, despite being nearly 100 years old, were in drinkable condition. The couple began selling them at $1,000 each, turning a routine home improvement project into a small fortune. This wasn't just a liquor stash, it was a slice of American history. A quiet, dusty time capsule from a period when alcohol was illegal, smuggling was an art form, and some walls really did have secrets. Number 11. The Bedale Viking hoard. Buried deep in North Yorkshire's soil was a Viking treasure unlike any other, a collection of 48 gold and silver objects discovered near the town of Bedale in 2012. The items, which include arm rings, sword fittings, brooches, and ingots, date back to the late 9th or early 10th century. But this isn't just a Viking stash, it's a map of influence. Among the designs are Irish, Anglo-Saxon, and even Russian elements, showing how interconnected early medieval Europe truly was. The standout piece is a highly decorated sword pommel, likely a personal weapon component belonging to a Viking of significant status. At the time, coins weren't widely used in the region, so silver and gold items like these functioned as currency, wealth storage, and political tools. The hoard likely represented someone's life savings, hidden perhaps during a time of conflict. Its discovery didn't just expand our knowledge of Viking presence in Britain, it showed how trade, conquest, and migration shaped the region long before modern borders even existed. Number 10. The Germanic gold hoard of Hen. When archaeologists Rolf Sørensen and Brian Christensen took their latest metal detector finds to a museum in Bedale, Denmark, they had no idea they were sitting on one of the country's most significant treasures. The experts' reaction said it all. They immediately pressed for secrecy and demanded the exact location. What they had found on the island of Hun was a 6th century Germanic gold hoard, 32 ornate objects including pendants, coins, beads, and elaborately decorated needles. Some of the designs were completely unfamiliar, as if they'd come from a master goldsmith working far ahead of his time. The discovery didn't just hold monetary value, it hinted at cultural connections between early Germanic peoples and the Roman Empire well before the Viking Age. Among the pieces were Roman-style coins, suggesting trade or tribute ties that had been forgotten. This wasn't just a random cache, it was a statement of power, wealth, and craftsmanship, buried, preserved, and now revealing a history far richer than gold alone. Number 9. Bronze Age gold jewelry, hidden in Cumbria. Buried beneath a limestone ridge in northern England, a delicate hoard of gold lay undisturbed for nearly 3,000 years. Discovered in 2017 near Cumbria, the collection included a twisted gold bracelet and 3 finely made lock rings, likely used as hair ornaments or earrings. The craftsmanship is unlike anything previously found from the British Bronze Age, suggesting the maker had skills far beyond the norm for the period. Whoever placed them in that stone cavity did so with intent. Covered with a rock, they were clearly hidden, protected perhaps for ritual or for safekeeping during uncertain times. The site itself adds intrigue. Not far from this cache are remains of an Iron Age hill fort and an ancient stone circle, both testaments to the area's long-standing significance. Whether these items were meant as offerings to local deities or simply kept away from prying hands, we'll never know. But the gold, untouched and gleaming after centuries in silence, speaks to a world we're only just beginning to understand. Number 8. The royal tomb of Hala Sultan Tekke. In 2016, archaeologists in Cyprus opened a Bronze Age tomb near the old city of Hala Sultan Tekke that hadn't been seen by human eyes in over 3,000 years. What lay inside was not only preserved, but also deeply personal. Ceramic vessels, gold earrings, scarabs of Egyptian origin, and finely cut gemstones. This wasn't a tomb for one elite. It was the final resting place of an entire family, 9 adults and 8 children. The scale and quality of the items suggested wealth, but also cultural complexity. Artifacts from Syria, Mesopotamia, and Egypt were present, pointing to a web of connections across the ancient world. Among the pottery, one vessel stood out, a detailed illustration of a woman in a flowing dress believed to depict the elite fashion of the time. For archaeologists, ceramics were as important as gold. They told stories of trade, ritual, and daily life. This wasn't a burial, it was a family history that stretched back thousands of years. Number 7. Turkey Seps, $6 billion gold deposit. Accidental discoveries don't usually come with a $6 billion price tag, and that is what we all know, but in Western Turkey, that's exactly what happened, and you can Google it. Farit Poyraz, working for a fertilizer company near Sultan, wasn't hunting treasure when he stumbled upon a vast underground gold deposit. But what he found could reshape the nation's economy. Estimated at nearly 100 tons of raw gold, the deposit is among the largest modern finds in Turkey's mining history. To put that in perspective, it's worth more than the GDP of some entire countries. The process to extract it is long and complex, expected to take around 2 years. But the implications are immediate economic boost, job creation, and a shift in Turkey's position in the global gold market. This wasn't a handful of nuggets in a riverbed, this was a hidden fortune buried in plain sight, discovered not by a prospector or pirate, but by a man just doing his day job. Sometimes the biggest treasures are found where you least expect them, under your feet. Number 6. The one-of-a-kind Roman gold coin. Well, you don't need massive structures or alien tech to change history. Sometimes a single coin is enough to rewrite part of Roman history. Discovered in December 2017 at a burial site near Fredenbeck, this golden multiplum is the only known surviving example of its kind. Minted in 342 CE during the reign of Emperor Constans, this coin wasn't loose change. Multiplums were ceremonial gifts handed out by emperors to their most loyal allies during special festivals or military victories. Finding one outside Roman borders is rare enough, but this one was found buried in Germanic territory, likely belonging to a local ruler flaunting a powerful Roman connection. The empire often relied on Germanic mercenaries and auxiliary forces, so the coin may have been a personal token of gratitude from Rome after a battle was won. Its preservation is astonishing, and its presence in a burial adds weight to its importance. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol of status, of allegiance, and of the blurred lines between Rome and the barbarians on its borders. Number 5. The Galloway hoard. In 2014, metal detectorist Derek McLennan wandered into the rolling fields of Galloway and walked out with one of the most amazing Viking finds ever made in the British Isles. Beneath his feet were over 100 ancient artifacts, now known as the Galloway hoard. These weren't just random relics, they were personal possessions, silver brooches, armbands, ingots, and most spectacularly an Anglo-Saxon cross with gold leaf and intricate etchings of biblical symbols tied to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The craftsmanship suggests royal or religious ownership, and the hoard may have belonged to a Viking king or high-ranking cleric. For his find, Derek received a £2 million reward, but the real value lies in what the hoard reveals. Vikings weren't just raiders. They were collectors, artisans, and cultural adopters. The treasure's diversity, religious symbolism, and preservation paint a richer portrait of Viking life than most textbooks. It was buried for a reason, and now it's reshaping how we understand the Viking legacy in Britain. Number 4. The San José. They call it the Holy Grail of treasure. But honestly, it's more like the Holy Grail of greed. The San José went down in 1708 during a fierce naval clash off Colombia's coast, dragging with it nearly $17 billion worth of gold, silver, and emeralds. For over 300 years, it stayed hidden, until 2015, when the same team that found the Titanic used an underwater robot to locate it near Baru Island. That's when the chaos began. Spain claimed it. Colombia claimed it. OI wanted credit. And indigenous descendants argued it was stolen from them in the first place. Caught in a legal mess that feels more like a courtroom soap opera than archaeology, the treasure still lies untouched beneath the waves. At the time of its sinking, the San José was part of Spain's largest treasure fleet, targeted during the War of Spanish Succession. Now it's at the heart of an international standoff that digs up way more than gold, like colonial scars that never healed. Number 3. King Tut. It's been 100 years since Howard Carter cracked open one of the greatest archaeological jackpots of all time, the tomb of Tutankhamun. And no, Tut wasn't even that big of a deal in ancient Egypt. He died at 19 after ruling for less than a decade. But his tomb? Untouched, perfectly sealed, stuffed with 5,000 breathtaking artifacts including golden chariots, daggers, statues, and that iconic gold death mask. Carter's team had been grinding through the Valley of the Kings for years when they finally found the steps leading down to the chamber in November 1922. What made this find so electric wasn't just the bling, it was the pristine look into how the ancient elites lived, worshipped, and died. The discovery rewrote history books, sparked global obsession, and even inspired a chart-topping comedy song by Steve Martin. King Tut's tomb gave the world something more powerful than treasure. It gave us a window into a civilization obsessed with the afterlife, glory, and beauty that could outshine death. This guy was king. Number 2. Atocha motherlode. Mel Fisher didn't just hunt treasure. He lived it, bled for it, and very nearly died chasing it. His obsession, the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, was a Spanish galleon loaded with gold, silver, and Colombian emeralds. It sank in 1622 off the coast of Florida. After gathering loot across the New World, the ship left Havana too late, sailed straight into hurricane season, and got torn apart by a storm. It sank near Key West, killing nearly everyone on board. For centuries, the wreck vanished beneath the waves. But in 1969, Fisher kicked off a hunt that lasted 16 grueling years. His motto, "Today's the day." That optimism carried him through heartbreak. His own son and daughter-in-law died during the search, but he kept going. Clues like scattered coins and bronze cannons eventually led to a breathtaking find, the motherlode. In 1985, Fisher's team recovered more than $400 million in treasure. Gold bars, emeralds, silver chains, it was all there. And just like that, a dream that nearly broke him finally came true. Number 1. The Celtic silver coins of Slovakia. In a quiet forest near Motin, Slovakia, a scattered trail of ancient silver coins told a story from over 2,000 years ago. These weren't just any coins, they were tetradrachms, the top-tier currency of the ancient Celts. Heavier, larger, and far more valuable than the smaller coins used in daily trade, these were tokens of high status and wealth. 40 of them were uncovered in late 2018, believed to have been hidden before a battle, a common practice among the Celts, who often buried their treasures in moments of crisis. Over time, the sack that held them disintegrated, leaving the coins to settle into the muddy slope where they were eventually found. The area, rich in natural resources, was once a thriving Celtic stronghold. What's particularly fascinating isn't just the coins themselves, but what they represent. They reflect a complex economic system, regional artistry, and a pre-Roman European culture that knew the value of silver long before empires came knocking. If you've enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.